Thank you for visiting our channel. Today I came out to compare the Buzztv XRS4900 with X5 128AI version box. In this video we will compare a few parts: physical appearance, ports and connection, remotes, chipset in RAM and also storage, and firmware, and what is new. And that's what we wanted to put everything together, and then we will go to conclusion. Before we forget, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, click the subscribe button. Make sure you share this with your friends and family, and make sure you click the notification icon, select all, in order to get notified once we have a new video out. On top of that, if you have a question, drop them at the bottom of the video. We love to help you out ASAP. And don't forget to click the like button. It really motivates us to make these type of videos quickly with a little more detail every time. Alright, so first of all, the look on each box is totally different, so that way you do not have to mix it up or say that they are the same. So the first thing first, you can see that they have these little hexagons on top, and then on this one you have a nice X with a hexagon right in the middle with their logo in the middle, which is making it very stand out. Now when we put it on top of each other too, when you look, the size difference is also different, because this one you can put a hard drive in it, but there's the IR sensor. For this one, the actual logo is going to be the IR sensor. Now when you flip it on one side, there's nothing over here, but this one do have the USB switch. We're gonna flip in a few seconds just to show you. So the other side, there's nothing here. There you go. So front, and then this one is the front. So once you flip in the back part of it, you have a bunch of connections that you can check. So let's go to the back itself and let's just check that out too. So here are some little differences on these two. Number one is that this one comes with an external antennas, just in case if you do live in an older type of house and that building or whatever you're going to live does not allow you to have a landline. This will really help you out to have better gain on Wi-Fi, while this one has two little circles inside of it, so this way you can get your Wi-Fi. Again, both works the same way, but this can give you a better gain because you can open this, and then that way you can go to a computer store and get yourself a different antenna, which is going to be bigger, so you can have a better Wi-Fi connection going next. So that is going to be very nice and very good, the way that you should be able to see things. Another part is both of them have the gigabit LAN. They're using exactly same chip when it comes to playing with this. You do have the AV port on both. I would really suggest to use these only for stereo connection for voice, and it's not created for older type of TVs to connect. I know it's called AV, but this is really positioned for you to place your box into recovery mode. There is a little click inside of it. On top of that, both of them have HDMI connections. This one is going to be HDMI 2.1 and this is going to be HDMI 2.2, so that way better CEC connections too. That way you can turn on and off TVs very easily. And you also have the optical audio connections, which is going to give you a proper stereo system, or if you want to get some better sound, this will really help you out. Another thing is that this one, the top one, the X5, gives you only 5 volt 2 amps. This one gives you 12 volt and 1.5 amp. The more power that this one requires is because of the hard drive that needs to power up. That's why you need a bigger power intake. Now when you go on one side of it, let's flip this on a side so we can see more. This is another really cool thing to mention, is the 4900 will give you 2 USB 3 connections. This one only going to give you 1, and on top of that you also have the micro SD connection on this one, and you also have it the same. One thing is that this one can read only up to 128 gigabyte, and this one can read up to 256 gigabyte. It's just because of the chip and the motherboard connection. That's why they are a little bit different. But you have one USB 2.0 connection, same thing with this one. This is also called OTG, so that way if you really require for the box to be programmed, that's the one that you guys have to use in order for it to be programmed. This is a little bit different, by the way, and it is not recommended for you guys to go through the programming for this. One thing I forgot to mention on the 4900 in the back, let's just grab it this way so we can see it. There's a USB Type-C connection. This is not for power, and this is not for you to connect to anything else and you can get more access. This is really created so you can use this box with your hard drive in the bottom as an external drive for your computer, so that we can drag and drop files, and it will be a little bit faster than the USB 3, so that way you can get your files back and forth. I know some of you already tested and some of you already requesting and telling us more faster than USB 3.0. I have to mention that when we were testing, we got exactly the same amount of speed as the USB 3.0, which is really good. So here you go. These are the little parts that I have to mention before we can flip this upside down. And same with this one, you can see that there's a lot of holes for ventilation and the way that this is created, and then you have the label, FCC, everything is there, and then your serial number and MAC address is on the top of it. But I'm going to just put that aside and go with this one. This is a little bit different. Yes, everything has been written over here and the serial number is there too, but once you open it, you can put a hard drive in this. You can see that I have my 160 gigabyte right now just so I can make this video, and then you can put that inside so you can use it. There you go. So you can do some PVR if you really require, or you want to put some movies on it and you go into somewhere that have no internet connection. You want to put some cartoon or something for your kids. This will really help you out. Or you want to go somewhere that you have a projector and there's no internet connection. Go ahead, use this. This really works, but you have to make sure that you have about 12 volt, 1.5 amp in order to make this run, but it will work perfectly for you. So this is the physical part of it that it really plays very well. Alright, so it's time to talk about the actual remotes that comes with these boxes. This one, it's called the BT200. Now this one is backlit, plus when you look in the back, it takes 2 AAA batteries. Now that's not the only thing, you can also control your TV with the 4 buttons that they have placed in the front. As an example, you can also program your TV to power off, go to source, volume up and volume down. Now that is pretty cool if you're able to make this run, because this is really created for TVs that are only running on IR. Latest TVs, especially with smart TVs, are running between Bluetooth and also through Wi-Fi. So this is not really going to cut it. Only thing that may work is going to be the power, if you're able to program it. So that's not the only thing. The rest of the buttons really works fine. And this remote is really good. Only problem again with this one that I came across was that it eats battery like crazy, because it's always going to be on and always going to be connected. That's the only difference. But if you want to unpair it, there is unpairing feature on this through the actual box that you can use it as IR. The only thing is you have to point it to a general direction to the box of the 4900 to make this work, and it will work for you perfectly. Again, it is really nice. It has a lot of buttons that you can play with, and they have even used the unused parts from the 100 to the 200 so you can use it and it will work for you perfectly. But again, this remote is something that a lot of people are looking these days, and I don't believe you can find it anymore. So we're going to put this aside. The main feature for this is that this is called BT400. Now this one also comes with another model called XRS4900 as a BT300. The only difference is that with the X5, you're going to get a smart app so you can not only function the actual remote. So here are some really cool things about the remote itself. You can see that it says connected. That means I'm connected via Bluetooth. Now this remote also accepts updates. So if there's one available, you'll get a little pop-up that you have to select and then it will update. That's not the only thing. You can turn on and off the backlit. Also, you can set up your color keys so that way you can open different apps. But you have to understand that while you're doing it, you will lose functionality inside of your Buzztv app for those little colors. Another thing is, if you did lose pairing with your remote, you can come to this place and at the top it will say disconnected. You can click on player Bluetooth remote and you can repair it using it. Another thing is turn on and off your CEC will be here, so that way you do not want it to be turning off when you turn off your TV. This will really help you out. And another thing is that if you want to have your own access for your volume control on your box itself, you can turn this off and now you can use the volume to go up or down as you wish, except that if you leave it on, then that means as your TV, once you source pair your TV as it shows the first one, then you will lose that from the box and only going to put up or down using your TV volume. So this was just one volume from your TV and that's about it. But you can use your own remote, which is the BT400, to process that. One more thing that I have to mention is they only have one power button and one source button. That means is when you power up the X5 with this, pair the X5 and you want to pair this with your TV, the power also the volume button and also the source button is only going to work with your TV. So the actual box will be on a max volume, so this way you cannot use the actual volume on the box, and it will work with this remote itself. And one more thing between these two is this one has a search button, which is right over here, and then it also have a mute button, which is right in the bottom right here. These two buttons are not on this one, so in order for you to press mute, you have to volume down all the way in order to mute it, because this is a little drawback with this remote. There was not enough buttons, I believe, the way that it was explained to me. And one more thing is there's no search button because it was already implemented into Buzztv 5, so you can go to menu, which you can press this, and when you go into your search for your channels, you can press OK, the channel list comes up, and then you're going to see on the top part that your search button is there, so you can select and then you can play with it. That's the different thing about this remote. So for me, between these two remotes, if you ask me which I'm going to choose, so I can show you on the screen, I would choose the X5, which is the BT400, because it works very unique, and again, the battery lasts way longer. It will work as an IR or as in Bluetooth. Also, you can pair, you can factory reset this remote. You cannot do it with this one. There is a lot more functions with this remote. According to what I hear from Buzztv, this remote is more better than the BT200, and that's why it works a lot better. Much different from the 4900. You will get exactly the same thing as you have. The only difference is on a 4900 you will have a little picture-in-picture right around here, but on the X5 you do not have it because of the OS limitation, except that it will work for you perfectly. Now when you go to settings, it exactly looks the same, but when you select settings on the OS 11, it shows it like this, and when you're going into your 4900, it looks like this. So these are the little differences that you will see when you're playing with it, except that it's exactly the same when you go into the main screen and you want to play with any of these options. When you go to apps, all of the apps that will show up will be almost the same, but it has a little goodie with OS 11 because of this remote. And also when you're doing updates, it's a little bit different. And also you can check your DRM. If your TV is also up to date with DRMs, it will show you there, so you can use one remote for your TV and also for your box. In this case, remote itself, it will help you out, except that it's exactly the same of what you look for. With the 4900, you're running the S922X chipset, and this one is the S905X4 chipset on the X5, which is a little bit later, but it's a quad-core processor rather than on the 4900 you have hexa-core processor. So I would suggest that even if you want to play with 4900, it would be really good because it has a hard drive, but with the X5 you do not have that access. Again, with 4900, remember that as already mentioned, you have two USB 3 connections plus the SATA connection in the bottom, so you can connect your SSD or SATA drive, which is for the laptop 2.5. But in this one you cannot. You just have to use the external drive for you to do PVR. It will work perfect on both of them, and you can even record multiple channels. Yes, it just have some limitation to your whoever's going to provide your channels that will be able to answer you those questions, that if you are able to record one channel or more, except that this will work perfectly for you on both. If you ask me which one I really like, I'm really intrigued, and also I really like the design of the 4900. I want to stick to that till they get the newer model, which will be very soon, and then I'm going to make another video on comparing the 4900 with that new model called U5. But right now X5 is another favorite of mine that I'm going to use from now on because it is OS 11, and a lot of apps that you want to install in this is not going to be compatible that much, because everything that is compatible on the internet is going to be for OS 9 and tvOS. This is not a tvOS, but this is a really good near to the tvOS that you're going to like and play with. So this is our take on the 4900 versus, or should I say compared to, the X5. I hope you guys like our video. Links are available. We can order any of them as long as they are in stock. Except that, I hope you guys like our video. If you do like it, click the like button, subscribe button on the top, comment on the bottom. Always remember to visit our own website, which is xztex.info. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and other social networking places, and thank you.